Aretha Franklin, Lady Soul, classic review. You know her at this point. An introduction on Aretha Franklin would be pointless. She is an all-time classic type of artist. She has so many well-known and famous songs. Some would even say that Lady Soul isn't even her best, and I would agree. And I chose this one for that reason, actually. I would say Spirit in the Dark is one of my all-time favorite albums, but it just goes to show how amazingly talented she was that I could even talk about this album, despite the fact that this probably isn't on that same level. She nailed it on so many different albums that you could talk about any of them. You could talk about the album that she released prior to this one, 1967's I Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You, which had one of her most well-known songs ever, Respect. Amazing opening track to kick off that album, and a year later, in 1968, she kicked off Lady Soul with an amazing song too. Chain of Fools, which is that classic Memphis soul type sound. It also reminds me of a lot of girl groups from the 60s too, something like the Ronettes would even touch. You got that blues, you got a bit of rock, you got a bit of pop, all coming together to just create an amazing song that stood the test of time. So many people know this song. And that doesn't necessarily mean to say that I would then think it's a great song just for that reason, but I think it's amazing to see that Aretha is an artist that her most famous songs could be categorized as easily her best songs, but then you go to a deeper cut that not as many people talk about, and you could put that as one of her all-time best songs too. Prime example of that is Ain't No Way, which was a single and was a hit at the time, but it's certainly not the track that most people would go to now to reference Aretha. It's a great, beautiful ballad to close out the album, and in between the Chain of Fools and that track, you've got so many great tracks in between. You've got plenty of covers as well, which was quite a common thing, I think, back in the 60s for artists to just constantly cover each other, which is kind of weird because that's not really something you see that much these days. Like, so many classic albums will have like a cover somewhere in the mix, whereas these days a cover song's just like something you might play at a live show, or you might include on an album once in a while as a bonus track or something like that. But as famous as Aretha was, she has so many cover songs. Money Won't Change You, which is the James Brown cover, a freaking great track, a funky jam. Again, maybe it's a song you'd affiliate more with the original artist, but man, this is in contention for one of her best songs. Honestly, I think this is such a friggin' great tune. You've then got, immediately after this, a Curtis Mayfield cover with People Get Ready. A bit of a slower cut, a bit of a breezier type Otis Redding type track. Again, Aretha just nails it. You can't really say much to compliment her like with a review, because you know the vocals are going to be amazing, you know the instrumentals are going to be absolutely fantastic. Like, what can you even say? She takes other people's songs even and pretty much makes them better versions, let's be honest. It's just sheer talent across the board. There's really not a single thing she ever got wrong, really. Which does, of course, include the lyrics. You get the wonderful You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, which was actually co-written with Carole King. She did, of course, write the classic album Tapestry just a few years later, but it's cool to see that she was involved in other areas of music just before releasing that incredibly critically acclaimed album, which I think is pretty good. It's not something I would call like a near masterpiece or whatever, but it's worth your time if you've never checked it out. And You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman is one of those songs actually that you might have heard in so many other areas of the music world that you might just not even know that this was originally by Aretha. It's been covered that many times. There is a good chance you just wouldn't know that as a fact. But with the fact that I've already mentioned that there are cover songs on this very album, it probably blurs the lines to some people. Like, you know a classic song when you hear it. Everyone knows a song when they hear it, but just not knowing where it originated from might be something not everyone is completely brushed up on. I do think the sentiment of the track is really lovely as well. Like I say, she can pen amazing lyrics, But I don't know. There's something about that line. You make me feel like a natural woman. Just holds so much weight to it. It's just such a great way of saying, like, you just bring out these feelings in me that are indescribable. Might not be the most perfect looking model-esque person you've ever seen, but you certainly make me feel that way, and I really like the way this track is worded in that sense. One thing I need to express, by the way, is that I love horns in a pop jam. And Sweet Sweet Baby, it's got those horns, man. It's got those horns. It's friggin' jazzy. It's funky. It's got that Motown vibe, which is just timeless at this point. I feel like so many Motown songs just has that timeless feel to it. It's just such a good feel good feeling whenever you play a Motown song, and this is definitely in that realm. And it keeps coming track after track too on this album. Comeback Baby as well is another gem. It's just gem after gem after gem. Aretha was just wonderful. And this isn't in my opinion her best album. I need to stress that as well. Maybe I will do more videos on her in the future, because I do love to talk about Aretha. I think she's wonderful. And yeah, classic album. Thank you for watching this review. Let me know what you think of this album. Let me know what you think her best album is. Have a good day. Thank you for watching this classic review. Hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.